She rolled her eyes at me and said, "Stop being insecure," while she laughed in his lap like I wasn't even standing there. The music was loud enough to shake the glasses on the table, but her voice still cut through everything. Her laugh didn't sound like the one she used with me anymore. It sounded lighter, sharper, almost careless. And the way her hand rested on his shoulder made something inside my chest go tight. I stood there for a second too long, not moving, not speaking, just watching. Her name was Charlotte Monroe, my girlfriend of 3 years, the woman I thought I was building a future with. And the man she was sitting on was Blake Harrison, her boss, her mentor, her like family connection she had reassured me about more times than I could count. Blake didn't even look uncomfortable. He leaned back in his chair like he owned the room, like he owned her, like he owned me too, in some strange way. I finally stepped closer. "Charlotte." My voice sounded calmer than I felt. She turned her head slightly, barely acknowledging me. "What?" That one word felt colder than anything she'd ever said to me. "I think we should go," I said. She sighed. Not the kind of sigh someone makes when they are tired. The kind someone makes when they're annoyed. "You're doing it again," she said. "Doing what?" "Making everything awkward." Blake chuckled under her. "Relax, man," he said, lifting his glass slightly. "She's just having fun." I looked at him, then at her, then back at him. "Get up," I said quietly. Charlotte laughed. Actually laughed. Right there, in his lap. "Are you serious right now?" Her tone had that familiar edge. The one she used when she thought I was being ridiculous. "You're embarrassing me." Something shifted inside me. Not anger. Not yet. Something colder. "Get up," I repeated. She leaned back even more comfortably against Blake, crossing her legs slowly. Or what? That question wasn't playful. It was a challenge. Blake's hand moved slightly at her waist. Not enough to be obvious, but enough that I saw it. Enough that I couldn't unsee it. The room suddenly felt smaller, like all the oxygen had been pulled out. "I'm leaving," I said. "Then leave," she replied instantly. No hesitation. No concern. No pause. Just dismissal. Like I was interrupting something more important. I stood there for another second, hoping she would change her mind, hoping she would look at me. Actually look at me. She didn't. She turned back to Blake, laughing again at something he whispered. And just like that, I walked out. The cold air outside hit me hard, but it didn't clear my head. If anything, it made everything sharper, louder, more real. I didn't go home right away. I drove. No direction. No destination. Just movement. Because stopping meant thinking. And thinking meant replaying that moment over and over again. Her eyes. The way she dismissed me. The way she chose him in front of me without even pretending otherwise. I got home around 2 in the morning. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. Her shoes were still by the door. Her jacket still hung where she left it. Everything looked normal, and that made it worse. I sat on the couch and stared at nothing. Waiting. Not for her, but for some kind of clarity. Some explanation that would make it make sense. She came home around 3:30. I heard the door unlock. Heard her heels click softly on the floor. She didn't turn on the lights. She thought I was asleep. "Charlotte." She froze. Just for a second. Then she sighed again. "You're still awake?" I stood up. "We need to talk." She dropped her purse on the table. "Can this wait until tomorrow?" "No." She looked at me. Finally. But there was no guilt in her expression. Just irritation. "You overreacted tonight," she said. "I overreacted?" "Yes." She walked past me toward the kitchen. "It was a work event. You were sitting in his lap." She turned around slowly. And you think that's normal?" "In our field," she said. "Yes." Her confidence was unsettling. "It's called networking," she added. "That's not networking. That's your insecurity talking." There was again. That word. Like a label she could stick on me to dismiss everything I felt. "I saw his hand on you." She laughed. Actually laughed again. "You're imagining things now?" "I'm not." She shook her head. "You're exhausting sometimes, you know that." That hit harder than anything else. Because it wasn't anger. It was indifference. Like I was a problem she was tired of dealing with. "I left because I couldn't stand watching that," I said. "And I stayed because I wasn't doing anything wrong," she replied. The certainty in her voice made me question myself for a second. Just a second. Then I remembered the way she looked at him, and that doubt disappeared. You disrespected me, I said. She rolled her eyes again. There it is. What? That ego thing. Ego. Yes. She crossed her arms. You don't like that I have a life outside of you. That's not what this is. It is, she insisted. You're threatened by him. I took a step closer. I'm not threatened. Then what are you? Hurt. That word hung in the air between us. For the first time, she didn't respond immediately. Something flickered in her eyes, but it was gone just as quickly. I'm going to bed, she said. Just like that. Conversation over. Issue dismissed. I stood there alone again. But this time, something had changed. I didn't follow her. I didn't try to fix it. I didn't try to convince her. I just stood there and let the silence settle. The next few days were strange. Charlotte acted like nothing had happened. She smiled. She talked about work. She asked what I wanted for dinner. Like that night didn't exist. Like I imagined all of it. But I didn't forget. I couldn't. Every time she picked up her phone and smiled at a message, I felt it again. Every time she mentioned Blake casually, like he was just another coworker. Every time she dismissed my silence as moodiness. It built, slowly, quietly, until I decided to stop guessing. I needed to know, not what she said, but what was real. I didn't confront her again. I didn't accuse her. I watched. I paid attention. Patterns started to show. Late nights. Last-minute work emergencies. Messages she would hide the second I walked into the room. And then came the midpoint. The moment everything shifted. She left her laptop open one night. Not intentionally. Just careless. I wasn't looking for anything. But it was there. An email thread. Between her and Blake. At first, it looked normal. Work-related. Professional. Then I scrolled. And everything changed. The tone shifted. The language softened. Personal jokes. Late-night exchanges. Then something more. A message from him. You were incredible tonight. Her reply. Only because of you. My chest tightened. But I kept reading. A photo attachment. I clicked it. It was from the night of the event. Her in his lap. But this time, it wasn't a public moment. It was closer. More intimate. His hand wasn't subtle here. It was clear. Possessive. And she wasn't pulling away. She was leaning into him. Smiling directly at the camera. That was the moment. The truth. Not ambiguous. Not debatable. Real. I closed the laptop slowly. Sat back. And felt something unexpected. Not rage. Not heartbreak. Clarity. Everything made sense now. The dismissals. The eye rolls. The laughter. It wasn't that she didn't understand how I felt. It was that she didn't care. Because she had already chosen. The next morning, I didn't confront her. Not immediately. I made coffee. Sat at the table. Waited. She walked in, stretching completely at ease. Morning, she said. Morning. She poured herself coffee. Sat across from me. What's wrong? That question almost made me laugh. You tell me, I said. She frowned slightly. What does that mean? I slid the laptop toward her. Open to the email. Her face changed. Just for a second. Then she closed it. That's not what you think, she said. There it was. The final attempt. It's exactly what I think. It's complicated. No, I said. It's simple. She leaned forward. You're blowing this out of proportion. I saw the photo. She hesitated. Only for a moment. Then she exhaled. It didn't mean anything. That was the final line. The one that broke whatever was left. It meant something to me. She looked at me. For the first time, there was something real in her eyes. Not guilt, but concern. Concern about consequences. You're overreacting again, she said, softer this time. I stood up. No. I shook my head. I'm finally reacting correctly. She watched me carefully. You're not seriously ending this over a misunderstanding. I looked at her. 3 years. Memories. Plans. All of it. And yet, in that moment, it felt distant. Like something that belonged to someone else. It's not a misunderstanding, I said. It's a decision. Her expression hardened. So that's it. That's it. She scoffed. You're going to throw everything away? I picked up my keys. You already did. And this time, when I walked out, I didn't wait for her to stop me. Because I knew she wouldn't. And somehow, that made it easier. Weeks passed. Then months. Life didn't collapse the way I thought it would. It adjusted. Slowly. Quietly. Like a wound closing on its own. I heard things here and there. About Charlotte. About Blake. How things at work got complicated. how boundaries blurred in ways that weren't sustainable. But none of that mattered anymore. What mattered was that moment, the one where she rolled her eyes and told me to stop being insecure. Because that was the moment I realized something important. Not about her, but about myself. Respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you walk away when it's not given. And sometimes, the clearest answer isn't what someone says. It's how easily they act like you're not even there.